Welcome to the Cynical Marketers Podcast, where the greatest minds in marketing, we think, discuss marketing for an audience of several. And now, your hosts, Mike and Nada. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Cynical Marketers, episode 25.
Yep.
We're rolling along. So,
Getting there at our 6-month mark,
we're
Mike.
almost there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and we're hitting that time too, like, you know, it's a challenge, it's a grind.
It is.
You know?
It is starting to be glaringly obvious why people get to quit by the time before they hit 20 episodes. Yeah,
I've said this for a long time about people. Comedy is big in this too, but like, you know, there's a comedian who says everybody has 5 minutes of material. Like, you know, everyone can be funny. And the same thing, like you start a podcast or something, like everybody's got some topics they can talk about for this block, but then you start getting in deeper and you're like, what are we going to talk about? You know, so.
Oh, but we know what we're talking about today.
Today is a pet peeve of mine, and it's a trend that's going on right now, and it bothers me.
Yeah.
Marketing girlies.
Yeah.
You know, and if you've seen any of this, there's a trend on social media for, if it's marketing people or social media, whoever, to make these funny videos of, well, the marketing team is leaving work after making a video that got 5 views, you know, and it's a trend.
Honestly, marketing, I feel like, has always had an interesting rep. And we did a whole episode on the fact that everybody thinks they can do our jobs. And we have always said our jobs are not difficult to learn. You know, it is definitely a skill set that you have to continue learning. So if you knew it 20 years ago, that, you know, get on, you know, get some classes and get some training and learn it all over again. But the concept of marketing girlies has amplified this idea that marketing doesn't do anything. Marketing is just a fun vibes job, right?
Vibe marketing. We walk around with our cell phones and we look cute and we flirt with the sales guys, right? And we're going to make a couple of TikTok dances.
Yep.
And I know that these videos, they do them because they've gotten them engagement and views and stuff, but
it's huge on TikTok. It's such a huge trend on TikTok.
And I'm like, you know, though, the problem that I have is that everyone who's watching this, they're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you because everybody hates us. You understand, you make these videos, you validate what sales already thinks about the marketing team, what ops thinks of the marketing team, what the CFO thinks of the marketing team. And then everyone wonders why the marketing team are the first group of people laid off.
Yeah.
Because you make these videos and everyone else, like the sales team's not like, no, I know they work really hard and this is a joke.
Sales.
Like,
yeah, sales.
They're even making the videos themselves admitting that they don't really do anything.
Right.
Everyone else who sees that. And the marketing folks who are like, oh, this is so funny. We know, look, there's a lot of work, especially on the social media side. There's way more work, you know, that goes into this. It's not like you're working in a coal mine. It's not hard like that. But, you know, it's a job and there's things that have to be thought out and you have to plan things and you have to do things. It's not just we sit around and then like, oh, let's grab our cell phone and let's make a cute dance video, everybody. Like, you know, maybe in some brands, maybe they do that, but most places, like, you have to plan it out and you got to work with people and there's scheduling to, you know, it's a challenge to get people to do this. Then I got to work with people who aren't normally used to being on camera or doing things. And now there's a challenge of getting that recorded. And how do we get them to do this and not try to look like a professional, but even just to get through this shoot, you know, because nobody wants to do content either.
No,
like,
of course not. I think the thing that started like really kind of bugging me about this trend on TikTok, and we have now seen, so the trend is marketing girly, right? But we have seen dudes in videos and essentially saying like, oh, so-and-so in marketing just made a cute little video that got 15 likes and they can go home now. Their job is done. Right. And, you know, seeing it once or twice, fine. It's cute. It's a skit. It's sarcastic. It's, you know, almost like poking fun at ourselves. But now every brand, I mean, everybody is doing this. Like small businesses are doing it. Everybody has, you know, jumped on this trend and is a woman in marketing. And I'm not trying to make this sexist by any stretch, but, you know, as a woman in marketing, you're already not taken seriously, you know? So, okay, be a cute girl that's going to wear some heels and hold your Starbucks coffee and do this sarcastic, funny video for TikTok. What you're telling everybody is you're fine with people thinking that this is all you do. It's all about vibes and aesthetic, and you're fitting into this trend, and you're almost inadvertently undermining yourself. And that's the part that's driving me crazy. You are basically like, my job is not a serious job. And it is.
I know.
It's a serious job.
Now, what I hate about the marketing girly thing is I'm a 52-year-old dude. I've been in social media and working with it since the beginning of social media.
Right.
I'm a 52-year-old guy, and I know social media, and I've done well on TikTok. I've done well on all different kinds of platforms.
Oh, yeah. Like your channel is doing really well as well.
I know it as well as lots of other people do, too. It doesn't have to just be 23-year-old pretty girls doing social media for people. It bothers me in that aspect. But my thought always about it is like, you're putting that content out, and your CEO is on social media, and then he sees these videos. He's not getting that this is a joke.
No.
They don't see what you're doing all day long.
See, this is the thing, though. You are just reinforcing the fact that marketing doesn't do anything. It is, at the start of our channel, I think several months ago, we stitched a video on TikTok where, I stitched it because it was like, this girl was like, finance coming to talk to marketing about the budget, right? And she knocks on the conference room door and opens it. And there's like a DJ and there's like liquor bottles and it's a party. Yeah. And this perception of marketing that has been around for ages it just drives me nuts, because there's never been a job I've had in marketing where I don't average 10-hour days. So no, I don't record a cute video and walk out the door with my Starbucks. Like, that's not what we do.
I know. You remember at Grunt Style, when we were working at Grunt Style, we were all in the facility in Carroll Stream, which they've sold recently and outsourced everything to Mexico and fired all the people there.
Yeah, it's been fun. I think some people stayed, but irrelevant.
In the front half of that place, and front of shop in that facility was all my team. It was all the marketing.
Right.
But we also were in the same building with the screen printers and the shippers and stuff. So they could see up and see what we were doing. And it looks like you're just sitting around having a good time and nobody's working. And they hated us.
Yeah, they did. Us. Yeah, they did.
And no, it's not as hard work as being a screen printer or working in a shipping facility for sure. But,
it's not physically
when sales
difficult.
Down, like, they didn't sit in meetings with Dan, the CEO, and get their asses just straight lit up when things weren't going good. And you're like, where's sales at today, right? When they missed Christmas one year, wasn't like them getting destroyed when they were getting late. We all had to go work in the back.
We oversold, Mike. Hey, do you not remember that conversation? Yeah. But you guys got to go help back there. Like, fine, we're certainly willing to, because we're the ones who have to deal with the customers. Right. And that's too with social media, this concept of a marketing girly, right? Which is, again, it's not just speaking on these girls, like everybody's jumped on this trend, right? Yeah. This concept that the job is fun. Yes, it can be fun. Great, right? Like there is definitely fun to it. Otherwise, I don't think I would do it. But it undermines the amount of pre and post work of planning, even this skit, of making fun of yourselves and saying you're a marketing girly that doesn't do anything and you just recorded one video and you can go home now. It is really undermining the amount of work that goes into planning your social calendar. And if you're doing it correctly, aligning your strategy with other teams, with paid, with sales, like Mike, you know this because you've, and bringing up Grunt Style, we obviously had a sales team also, right? And in a lot of organizations, sales teams get a lot of crap, I guess, for a lack of a better terminology here, because they get the cool outings and all these things. But we also recognize, like, they're out there networking. This is what salespeople do, right? So I think just this perception that we've built around marketing is not taking, if we don't take our jobs seriously, and I'm all for, like, you don't have to be too serious, like somebody said, we're not saving lives, we're saving PDFs, like, right, I get it. We don't want to be too serious, but but we've taken it to a point now where we're straight up telling people we don't do anything. And we seem to be comfortable with that messaging, right? People think, and you had said this in another.
Like, the accounts payable department isn't making videos about, like, hey, we got 2 invoices paid today. We're out. They're not making videos like that, right? And the AP folks aren't doing that. HR's not like, had 3 interviews, rejected 8 clients, rejected 8 applicants today through email. We're out. No one else is doing that stuff.
Right.
Marketing folks are the only ones out there making fun of themselves, and they're doing it for views and reach. And they think, again, that people are laughing with them, and they're not. People are laughing at us in this.
And they're just, we all look like idiots. We all look like we have undermined our jobs so much. And the wild thing about that too is seeing some of the big companies jump on this trend and then being like, you have to have either an agency or a team of people like at Grunt Style. And I know you have talked about this before when people are like, Mike, we want to hire you. Come do what you did at Grunt Style. And you're like, great, I need a team of 25 people. And they're always like, what? And you're like, you don't understand. We had a dedicated videographer, a dedicated photographer, multiples of in those roles.
We had
multiple social media people.
Talented people working in positions doing stuff. Yes.
Doing things. And so when you make a video that is straight up saying like, this is what we all do, it reflects on all of us.
I know.
Because marketing is this like big umbrella that people just don't even quite understand. They don't understand how it relates to revenue. They just don't get it. Right. Period. And we've talked about this.
And especially like you're the social media team, because like,
oh my gosh,
I was consulting for a company down in Florida last year, and it was family owned business. And one of the family was put with me then to kind of supervise, and, because they were on site there in Florida. They were not a marketing person, sales at all. Actually, they worked in the medical field, but they were the family owning.
Right.
And that person was always like, how hard is any of this stuff? I have an Instagram. I take pictures of my kids and post stuff all the time. None of this is hard. I'm like,
and that drives me nuts. And what people don't understand too, just because you are successful in one area, what you do on social media, that doesn't mean you can translate those skills. And like, it doesn't mean just because, and I'll use us even as an example. For those of you that don't know, Mike has a TikTok channel called TV Genius, and he posts about TV stuff on there for pop culture things, for a lack of a better description. Go check it out. And he has thousands of followers. Like, it's almost, where are you at? Like, I think you're over 50 at this point, and people engage. No. And I saw somebody say like, how much do we have to pay you to talk more about Band of Brothers the other day or something like
almost 39,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot, but that's still a lot, and you've had a lot of videos be very, very successful, and then we flip over to our TikTok for Round to It Marketing, and we have, for Round to It, we've had a couple thousand, I think now that are there, but we've been at this, and you specifically, Mike, have been making this videos about marketing content and talking to small business owners and other marketers for over a year and a half now. It is also a matter of a topic and what people will engage in, right? And so when I see people who are like, oh, but I have a channel where I post about my dog, and my dog has 20,000 followers, and so I can replicate that anywhere. No, you cannot, is the point, right? Like you can't. And there are specific skills that we use, and it's consistency, and it's showing up, and we've done it and we've talked about it. But you have to understand that just because you have a great social media account where you can even have, we've seen people have millions of followers and then not be able to replicate that on a different account on the same social media platform. So when you then have people who, people already assume they can do everything that we do. And then to combat that, marketing people have apparently decided that they're just going to jump on the trend where they're like, yep, we don't do anything.
I know.
Like, why are you doing this? Like, we already know how hard it is. We know that we can make it successful in one area and struggle in another. We just talked at the top of this podcast how it's been a struggle to keep consistent, and we understand why people quit. So when you go on to just say, but we don't do anything. Oh, look, we just made this one video and now we're done for the day.
Yep. It's videos and it's all about the vibe, right? Like, we just got to find the right music to put with our
marketing. The vibe marketing is going to be the death of me, Mike.
And really, some of that can work. It really depends on your brand. And this is like who's your audience? What is the product or service that you're selling? Who is it that you're selling this to? And that kind of stuff. But everyone has to think about that. And the marketing folks, and the thing too about marketing and social media in particular, social media people and the web people, we're doing stuff in a business that is the absolute most public stuff in any business that there is.
Yeah.
When we make content for social media, everybody sees it. Everyone in a whole company sees what you're doing, and everybody has an opinion. You know, nobody knows, hey, accounting, that closeout for last period, man. Killer.
Right.
You know, I was looking at the numbers, killer. What you guys did, the spreadsheets, oh my gosh, you know, nobody's seeing the work of everyone else. Ours is incredibly public.
Yeah.
It's on the web, like your ads, your social media, all of it gets judged by everybody, and everyone has an opinion, and here's what you should have done, and have you guys thought of trying this? Here's an idea for a video. Oh, this would be funny, you know? Like, yeah, great. Like at Grunt Style, I used to get it all the time. If I was walking around a facility anywhere, you guys know what we should do next? Awesome. You want to be in it?
No.
We'll do that. You want to do it?
No. They never want to do it.
No.
But this is the thing that drives me nuts, though, is my point about even just the following and being able to replicate success from one account to another and doing different things. Everything takes time and everything is different. It's a different audience. So there is planning. There's planning and there's scheduling and there is analytics that back up the different things that we're doing. So when we ourselves jump on a trend to undermine what is already viewed as an unimportant job in a lot of places, right? Or a very easily expendable job, right? Like marketing teams are forever the first one to get cut when layoffs come, right? And we jump on that trend and we make it funny in quotes. And we, make fun of ourselves and say, oh, I'm a marketing girly and this is all I did today. Like if I said, hey, all I did today for a client is I just sent out an email and I'm done now. How do you think my client is going to feel about that statement? They're going to be like, wow, she really doesn't even care or plan how to do anything. She's just making things up as she goes. And that's never the case. Like, we need to stop undermining our own jobs. Like, it's baffling to me. Like, I'm not a marketing girly. I'm a cynical marketer. I guess maybe you become a cynical marketer when you graduate from being a marketing girly. I don't know.
That on one. I know. And I know they're more the younger people doing it. So they're not cynical yet. And they maybe haven't been burned yet. And they still think it's fun to flirt with the sales team. And everybody loves us. Yeah. They don't.
No, they don't.
You haven't experienced yet. And I talk to the CFOs and CEOs. That's who I deal with. I know what they think of the marketing team.
Yep.
And you see all these marketers out there, they're like, we need, this is ridiculous when they expect one person to do everything. And I'm always like, you're lucky that you got one person.
Right.
And they're not trying to offshore it.
Right.
Because I bet that's the next step.
Yeah.
Because they want to just get rid of all of it. They don't want it in-house at all. So
it's brutal.
They make this content and feeds the narrative, and then we're the ones laid off.
Yeah, and we're the ones that are laid off. And I hate this.
CFO is on TikTok too. They're on TikTok also. They're watching the content just like everybody else. Everyone who uses social media, I don't care what their business title is, they're out there checking stuff out.
Oh yeah.
And they see that and they're like, you idiots.
Yeah.
And then when they're walking by your office, it just looks like, you're sitting around and then, doing stuff and they're like, they're not doing anything. Look at customer service. They're on the phones right now, and everyone else looks like when they're doing their job and they're typing on the computer like they're working. Like, oh, what's the marketing team doing? Surfing the internet again?
Yeah,
they're doing research.
Yeah, and we're feeding into it like as a collective. We're feeding into it, and it's like, stop. I don't, and this is the thing too. And like, of course, like the feminist in me is like, what the heck is with a marketing girly label? Why would you even want to be labeled that? Like,
I don't know.
That drives me nuts on a whole different level.
I know.
But it's just like, no, like we need to stop this. Stop. This is why nobody takes us seriously. And why, like you said, Mike, like we are the first to get let go, even though we are insanely tied to revenue. And if it wasn't for some of the stuff that we're doing, a lot of the people in the company wouldn't have a job because there would be no revenue to support that, the logistics. But, we gotta present ourselves a little bit better. This is a trend I'm not on board with at all.
I'm not on board, obviously. And I know if anyone watches this to this point or this makes somebody mad, they're going to say old man yelled.
I'm fine with that. We've had decades of experience doing what we do.
This is the thing, right? At my point here is that I have the experience and the perspective to understand and to see that what you're doing is harmful, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get it because it seems fun and you got that dopamine of 1 million views, you know, but they're not good. And again, they're not laughing with you.
Right.
They're laughing at you.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. And again, they're going to be like, yeah, of course, because no one knows what we do. I'm like, I know. And the people who make the decision whether or not you get to keep your job don't know what you do.
Yeah.
And
they're going to see the video and think that that is all you do.
Why are we paying these people? We can go find somebody on Upwork, right? Like,
yeah.
Why do we pay these people to do this?
Wild.
Can we use AI? Let's fire them all and just use AI, right? Like, all right.
I don't know.
All right, there we go.
Stop
don't
this
like
trend.
Stop it. So, all right, we appreciate it. If you stayed with us, we do appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Find us on the social media channels. You can find us.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate your time for here and everyone who does engage with us. We love it. Thank you so much, everybody. Tune in again next week.